Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver,
And I'm laying down. My name's Andrew Sabo.
and we're here to talk about episode 440 of Adventures in Odyssey. I slap floor.
That we are, and I've been slapping floors all day, Dylan, let me
Man,
tell
you've
you.
been you've been slapping floor in anticipation.
Oh yeah, there are so many handprints all over my parents' house, and that corporate training room, and the table, and keyboards, and maybe even my car's bumper. Um, we don't
Is
need to
is
talk
that a
about that.
floor?
No. But, well, no.
Oh man. So
The bumper is the floor of the back of the car.
right, I've always said.
That's what every mechanic says.
Uh-huh. And I'm a mechanic.
Yes.
Um this episode is track 5 off of album 34, In Your Wildest Dreams. This is the album where, when you were a kid, the album had a robot wit on the front, and it was terrifying. And then they upgraded it to a like a purpley album that has I'm realizing now as I'm talking, it's Edwin dressed as Willy Wonka.
Yeah, it's Edwin dressed as Willy Wonka.
I never put that together. Again, I didn't, when I first listened to this episode, I didn't know the new art wasn't there.
No, for sure. Yeah, exactly. And
I remember Tom with the lasso in the background. I feel like that one goes around.
yes, and also the flying ship from the TV show shows up.
Oh, is on the cover. I don't think I realized that, but
Yes.
I mean, I recognized the reference in the episode, but I don't think I caught that part.
We'll get into that because I have questions and also feelings.
Oh, okay. This album's also notable for having a bunch of split episodes, a thing that I can't imagine ever covering on this show.
Yeah, no, that would be wild. In all honesty, yeah, I just don't think that it fits the format of this show that well to try and split it up
Well,
like
and
that.
they're also famously not good.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
that's kind of the whole bit with the split episodes is like, these episodes are bad, and also they are like 10 minutes long, and there's nothing there.
We don't want to remember these. Please don't remember these.
Yeah. Yeah. So the notable thing about this episode of Adventures in Odyssey, I Slap Floor, is that it first aired April 1st of 2000. And me being the dumb nerd that I am, was like, well, obviously, we have to record that as an April Fool's
Day episode. Yes, of
like,
course.
we can't like, it's April 1st, so, and we always put out episodes on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I put out my calendar and I'm like, when does April Fool's hit on a
The
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
And the answer was 2025.
That's not a real year.
Is not a real year. And so we assume the podcast will not exist in 2025. At the rate we're going, that we could be well into, the Green Ring conspiracy at that point.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we might get around to it someday. But like the split episodes, it's probably a bad idea.
But the point is basically like, we were like, well, rather than waiting for 2025, which is never going to happen, we've got room in the schedule. Let's record this now, and then we'll just put it out someday in the future.
That's why you can tell we have a laissez-faire attitude, is because this is our at-night format.
Well, for sure. So the other piece of this is going like, this is such a weird episode to try and talk about in the way that we talk about Odyssey, because doing a plot recap doesn't really make sense.
No. Well, yeah, no, because I ran into that problem when prepping.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I knew it was going to be a problem going in, and then I started writing notes and I went, oh, this is really a problem.
Well, so I listened to it twice, and the first time I listened to it, I was so caught up in the joy of nostalgia of it all. I wasn't even thinking about the idea that I would have to talk about it. And then the next day, after I slept and everything, I came back to it and I was like, oh no. I've got to tell a story about someone telling a story about something that may or may not have happened.
Yeah. So I feel like the twofold of let's record this outside of time, and also in the most relaxed, we're just sitting on a couch, chilling. Like
Mhm.
this will I I know when we were talking about it ahead of time, I kicked around like maybe this will be an unedited and I kicked around saying maybe this will be an unedited episode. There is not a chance that this becomes an unedited episode
There's
just
no way.
because I
It's
the
gotta sit in the bank for more than 1 year. I'm sorry,
how
Dylan.
long?
I don't trust
Who knows? When's 2025?
Again, I don't think there will be an Earth at that point.
Don't worry. Trump will be in his third term. It'll be great.
Yes,
There
things
will
will go.
absolutely be.
You will finally drain that darn swamp,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
and things will be figured out.
Yep. The world will be safe. Nothing will ever be on fire. It'll
Yep.
be so chill.
We're here to comfort you on this April Fool's Day as
Yep.
this is the Wad Fam Chalk
Right.
Pod.
As the world I guess what, we can't have another flood.
No.
I just said it's not gonna be fire. I guess twisters.
Twisters
As
for sure.
twisters take over the world.
Mhm.
Um
I mean,
that would be
hurricanes.
okay, you know the bit with like aliens where like they made Ridley Scott made Alien and then James Cameron walked in and like was like, I'm gonna make a sequel to Alien, and he wrote Alien on the whiteboard and then put a dollar sign and that was the S.
No, I've never heard that story.
Okay, well, now take that into account and just imagine someone did that, but with the 90s blockbuster Twister. That would be the world as I'm picturing 2025. It's just Twister with an S at the end. So, anyways, look,
Not even looking at my notes.
we're doing it
What am I
loose,
doing?
guys.
We're doing
But we're not
live.
doing it live. No.
Ignore me.
With pleasure. So yeah, we get to put this episode out 25 years to the date of when it first aired, which is just really fun.
Lovely quarter centennial.
Yeah, this episode aired in a pre 9/11 world. And I imagine this episode comes out in a post 9/12 world. That's nothing. That's just a joke about not knowing what 2025 is going to be.
Okay, fair. No, that
Look,
is
Andrew,
entirely
not all
understandable.
my jokes can be good.
I was thinking that there was a
It's 9/11 too.
Yes,
9/12.
Well, wouldn't it be 9/11 dollar sign?
9/11s.
No, yeah,
All this stuff is gonna age so well.
beautifully. There's no way.
There's
Not
no way we're gonna have to do like we did in that one episode and cut out 20 minutes on Johnny Depp. You'll never see those minutes, folks.
But they'll haunt my dreams. I will say, in our typical fashion, I would like to make note about Tom's use of the word "what" in the intro. Am I getting ahead of myself?
You're getting ahead of ourselves.
That's fair.
You're getting ahead of ourself, Andrew.
That makes
No, you're getting ahead of yourself because one, we got to talk about the fact that this is an episode written by Marshall Younger, and directed by Phil Lawler.
Yikes.
Marshall, yeah, famously chill guy, Phil Lawler.
Never had any problems with us.
The thing with Marshall Younger, right, is he's like he's the guy who made like the show Bible, and so it makes sense that this episode that is so beholden to all of Odyssey's past is a Marshall Younger written.
Oh yeah, it's perfect, and it's the piece de resistance as well. Like I feel like he put his whole youngussy into it, and really let it all hang out.
See, I wouldn't phrase it that way.
Would it be younger?
No, I wouldn't say.
Oh, you just wouldn't say it.
Correct. I have like some modicum of self-control.
Must be nice. You must have so many fewer problems.
It cuts both ways.
Yeah, fewer stories, but also fewer problems.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like again, we normally do like go through cast, but like there's no one in this episode who's unique to this episode because it is all harkening back. And I imagine at the point at which this episode comes out, we've probably met all these people.
Oh, definitely.
If not,
Especially since
Sorry.
the show's still going on.
Like, yeah. We will meet them in some point in the future if we haven't already, you know?
Hypothetically, it would be like 300 or 400 episodes in, I would think.
Oh, 2025. Yeah? Well, no, not 400.
No, it'd be like 300.
Yeah, 300 and change sounds about right. Upper 300s. All right, yeah,
Yep.
pushing 400.
And
Anyways,
if we do the split episodes, that might bump the numbers up.
I
Artificial inflation.
is that artificial inflation? That's not like that wouldn't be us. Well, I guess it depends on how we did it. If we put out 2 episodes a week, the numbers would get bumped up.
Sure.
But it's the ratio of our episodes to Odyssey episodes that would
Exactly.
really be messed up by that, which is another great reason why we should never do it. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the promo, which is the thing that you forgot when you
Like,
started
I've
talking
never
about the
done that
episode
before.
itself.
Has everyone in Odyssey gone a little kooky lately? On the next Adventures in Odyssey, why is Tom selling the Timothy Center to Bart Rathbone? Is Eugene having second thoughts about marrying Katrina? And how in the world did Harlow Doyle finally solve a case? The whole town is having a really weird, wacky week. Be with us and find out the reason on the next Adventures in Odyssey.
I mean, that's kind of everything I want in a promo.
No, that is everything. That smacks so hard.
Yeah.
Like the bass and the horns. Like what?
Yeah, they pulled great stock music, and we've got the guy who voiced the rat coming in.
Exactly. To
My
lay it on
favorite
real
character.
thick. Rat intro is iconic.
I mean, there is no intro as good as rat intro. I've been saying it for years.
And that's honestly the reason that we shouldn't keep the podcast going into
Oh,
2025.
sure.
It's because we
we're
really have been
never-
on a downward trajectory
Yeah,
since.
ever since we got to the rat episode. Oh man, we gotta stop talking about the past, man. We gotta be future focused.
we
It's 2025. We gotta break new grounds. We're
living on the moon now.
yeah.
Breaking
we're-
new ground.
Yeah, we're like, are we a year away from Children of Men? Is that 2026? I think it's 2026. I think we're a year away from Children of Men.
I know we're at least 2 decades away from Blade Runner 2049.
That one's easy. It's right there in the title. Isn't it?
Exactly. Which is how I know it, despite having never seen it.
Man, you haven't seen. Well, by
Any-
2025, you will have seen Blade Runner 2049
Oh, undoubtedly.
because it's such a good movie.
Yes.
It's literally within my eyesight.
Well, and the thing
It's
is,
right there on my glorious Blu-ray shelf in 4K.
I just need to sit down and watch the original Blade Runner.
Agreed.
And that's what's holding me back.
I do have some people who are not going to be friends much longer, who think that you should watch Blade Runner 2049 without having seen Blade Runner, and
That makes
I
so little sense.
disagree with them vehemently.
Mhm.
Vehemently? What is that
Vehemently.
word? Vehemently.
Yeah. I
Weird.
thought you were saying behemothly. And I was
Vehemently.
like,
I
that's
disagree with them vehemently. No, it's 2025. Maybe vehemently is a word now. But no, maybe that's what all the kids are saying. You know, they're dapping up their bros behemothly.
Yeah.
Jeez, I can't even do the bit.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel like both that promo and the teaser in the episode are doing so much of just the same thing that the episode itself is doing.
Yeah.
Like, the episode is just kind of that promo, but for 20 minutes.
Oh, it's exactly what it is. And I would say my biggest gripe against this episode is how thickly it lays on the bit.
Interesting. I kind of think laying on a bit super thickly is fun.
Well, certainly. I mean, at a certain point, it becomes almost distasteful.
I don't know, Andrew. I don't think you could ever have a distasteful bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also one to say that because I committed to a bit so hard I stripped half naked and jumped in a pool.
That's true. I've got the video to prove it, but you'll never see it.
Nope. Maybe in 2025 you will. Maybe I'll be like mayor or something and it'll have come out.
Yeah, and I'll have leaked it. I think I'm the only one who still has possession of that video.
No, Nathan does for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Voice of Chris, Nathan Haverstick, also has. Look, people, hit him up on Twitter. He's out there.
You'll
can
get
get
him.
the video.
If you want to know. what brand compression socks I wear.
Although, it's 2025. Maybe Twitter's gone.
True. Fingers crossed.
Fingers gone. No. Twitter's great. I don't know why we would want Twitter gone.
No, never. What? It's only where all the people make fun of all the athletes. And
Oh, see, you're on bad Twitter. Sports
Sir,
Twitter sucks.
it does.
Movie Twitter's good. Podcast Twitter, great.
Mm-hmm.
All of you people who tweeted us, big fans, tweet about this episode.
Please do.
But anyways, we should talk about the actual episode, I guess. So the conceit of this episode is that the Strasburgs walk in, Mandy and David, who I swear David is the dad in my head every time.
Yeah, there's no way. No, I wrote down the wrong name twice because I thought it wasn't David.
David Strasburg is Mandy's older brother.
Yes.
And the two of them come in, and it's summer, even though this is an April episode. So I guess it's not summer. I don't know. Maybe they had a spring break. They were away at their grandparents the previous week and not in Odyssey.
Oh, yeah, probably could it have been an early Easter type situation?
Maybe. I know that sometimes Easter hits like that, like March into April kind of timeline.
Yeah.
But sometimes it hits 420.
Those are the best Easters. I don't know. I've never smoked weed. I'm sad. Maybe someday. Maybe by 2025.
By 2025, Andrew will be a pothead and we'll still be doing this show.
I will have tried weed the one time.
Famously, a thing you do once.
Mm-hmm.
So Strasburgs were away. They come back. They walk into Wit's End. Bernard is there at the counter. They're like, "Where is Wit?" And Bernard's like, "Oh, I guess you haven't heard about the crazy things that went on last week."
Who's on first?
And so I guess he knew that Mandy and David had been away last week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, presumably maybe he came by Wit's End to clean last week.
And was
Noticed
just like,
they were-
where are these kids? I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just like a funny thing that but it is also like only, like even in the context of the show and the bit that Bernard's doing, only Bernard could get away with this.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's perfectly in his character because, there's episodes of, Bernard telling Bible stories very
Sure,
imaginatively
yeah, of
and
course.
stuff like that. So it makes perfect sense, and Marshall Younger is in his bag. He's fishing around and getting every little bit of trivia out and shaking it all around, it seems.
Yeah. And so Bernard launches into the story of
Yes.
the strangest week we've ever seen in Odyssey.
Which,
He really puts the odd into
In-
Odyssey.
yes, and definitely lays it on maybe a little too thick.
Thick enough. I want it so thick. When it multiple C's thick.
Sure. Okay, well,
Multiple Odysseys thick. This is nothing.
when we're talking about cream cheese on bagels, how much cream cheese do you like? What's
Not much. I
Okay,
think
so
that
you're not a thick cream cheese
I'm
man.
not a thick cream cheese guy. I think most places where you order a bagel already cream cheesed, it's too much.
That's fair. I will say I used to be a lot more partial to an excessive cream cheese than I am now. In my older years, or in my maturity, I should say, I have come to love a large, thick butter, a real thick buttering. And I enjoy that.
I hate butter on a bagel. I think it is an abomination.
Why?
I am behemothly against it.
Why? Do you hate butter on toast?
I think butter's fine on toast. Butter's like some cinnamon and sugar on toast. Good. Butter and jam on toast. Probably not just butter. Well, no. If I'm in a diner,
Okay.
I'll take just butter on toast.
Yeah, what about butter and jam on a bagel?
But cream cheese is Andrew, the thing that you fail to understand here.
Sure.
Cream cheese is maybe the best topping,
For a bagel.
period.
Okay.
And it only has one real vessel.
Is bagel.
Correct. So why would you put anything else on the bagel?
Other than cream cheese.
It's clearly the best.
Did you eat a lot of bagels growing up?
Yeah.
I ate a lot of bagels growing up too, and so I never really had this commodity. What I would do is I would do butter on one half, cream cheese on the other, or I'd do peanut butter on one half and Nutella on the other.
See, all this is messed up. No. Like, it's the same.
Stupid
but, like,
equality.
Like cream cheese and the greatness therein is like why red velvet is like a great cake. It's why carrot cake is enjoyable at all. Like cream cheese is so good as a topping. I do not know why you would rob a bagel of its cream cheese unless you're doing like a bagel sandwich.
Sure.
Because I do also think that bagel is the best container for like a sausage, egg, and cheese.
Oh yeah. I love a croissant, sausage, egg, and cheese. It's good, but it's
bacon, egg, and
problematic.
cheese are better in the croissant. Sausage, egg, and cheese in the bagel.
Is that because of the size of the strips versus the sausage?
There's definitely a shape aspect.
Okay.
I also don't like bacon much, but there is something about bacon feeling lighter than a sausage, and a croissant being lighter than a bagel, that the two just pair together nicely.
And that makes sense in my head in a way that I never really thought that sausage on a croissant doesn't make sense. But what I was going to say is my gripe against sausage, egg, and cheese on a croissant, which is my preferred combination of meat and egg and cheese, is too heavy. And I feel like the croissant constantly tears in half. If I start eating it at one end, it tears in half. Bacon, egg, and cheese don't have that problem.
Correct.
But
But on a bagel, sausage obviously better than bacon.
Short round.
Bagel can fully hold up to it.
Okay. Quality bacon, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be chewy bacon, in my opinion. Don't bring none of this crispy bacon.
Did I say bacon can hold up to it?
What?
I think I said, didn't I say bagel? I don't know what I'm saying.
I thought that you were saying
Sausage is always better than bacon.
yes.
Categorically. Sausage works better on a bagel than bacon does.
Yes.
Bacon's nice on a croissant.
The only challenge I have with that is that bacon is fattier than sausage in a lot of ways, and croissants are obviously fattier.
If you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly.
That's fair.
Just like double down, my
Go
man.
for it. No, that's fair. Yeah, double down. Wait, it was KFC that did a double down thing for a while, where it was like you get a chicken sandwich in between two chicken patties.
I mean, that's
I think it's
messed
a
up.
real thing.
That just I mean, I guess they are owned, like KFC's owned by the same people as Taco Bell, right? They're part of that same.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that.
And
I feel like
Pizza
that
Hut.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Why could more ever be bad? There is
That's
no
our
such
motto
thing.
for this podcast, guys. Why could more ever be bad? That's why we're still going in 2025.
Exactly. I finally got it, Dylan. Yeah, no, so Sarah and Whit are talking, I guess, in
Right.
this
Since
story.
we're now in the past.
Yes, in previous week.
Yep.
And then Sarah and Whit are like having a conversation, and Sarah's gonna give him, or Whit's gonna give Sarah advice, and then they're interrupted by Richard Maxwell coming in.
Richard Maxwell.
Of course, of all
Again,
people.
a crazy thing to have Maxwell in this episode because Mandy and David have no idea
Yeah, who this
who
person
this
is.
guy is.
No, there's no way. And they even do like a little, oh yeah, you wouldn't know who this is. He kind of destroyed things a long time ago.
Do they do that for Richard? I feel like they do that for Blackguard at the end.
Yes.
Do they ever do it for Richard?
So Whit says that he hasn't been around for a long time. I don't think they ever mention
Okay.
like Tom's
Yeah.
barn or
Because
anything.
the thing that's important to understand is like Mandy and David are just here to be the audience kid surrogate. Like,
So that Bernard has somebody to tell the story to.
right, Bernard's telling them the story, but they also react to the story the same way that you as the audience are supposed to be reacting to the story.
Yeah, for sure. And they're the ones that are anchoring it in what Odyssey normally is, right?
But yeah,
Like,
so
whoa, that's so weird.
So Richard's looking for Eugene, but Eugene's off being a college professor.
An associate professorship,
Right.
Which is not a real thing, I don't think.
I mean, I guess you would probably say adjunct
Yeah,
rather than associate,
yeah.
but I feel like, I don't know.
If that's the same thing.
That's, yeah, Campbell University, those things are probably similar.
Sure.
But
And this was 2000, so my college
Right.
knowledge is not applicable.
college knowledge, hey, that rhymes.
Mm-hmm. That's where I learned it.
Wow. I thought only girls went to college, Andrew.
No, they go to Jupiter to get more stupider.
Oh, that's boys.
No wonder I'm not breaking new ground in 2025. I'm on Jupiter.
I mean,
Stupid gas giant.
Andrew, if you were on Jupiter, that would be breaking new ground.
True. Metaphorically, but not literally. I was going to the moon to break new ground.
Sure. So the thing that's interesting about like the Eugene being a college professor bit is that this is prior to Maxwell with the like showing up with his gas. Like Maxwell comes in and he shows up looking for Eugene.
Yes.
The idea throughout the episode is that things get wacky when Maxwell's there.
Yes.
But Eugene being a college professor doesn't fit in with
with any of it at all.
Correct. And so it's just a weird bit of flavor text for Bernard to add as he is making up this whole thing to be like, oh, Eugene's a college professor. Haha, that could never happen. Only in my weird fantasy. Like,
would he get a stupid job like an associate professorship? Come on now.
Yeah.
That's not real.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess just to me. But yeah, and then there's some point is made about Whit wearing very strong cologne.
Richard.
Sorry.
You're good.
Whit makes a point then about Richard wearing very strong cologne after he walks away. And then goes on to give Sarah advice that is against what her parents' advice is, which listeners of this show would know. It would never suggest something contrary to what a parent would want.
No, never, not once. And it certainly wasn't like bad. This is the crazy thing. It's pitched as him being so absurdly off the wall because they just had the comment about how strong Richard Maxwell's cologne was and everything.
I mean, we're definitely building. I do feel like this is supposed to be the like a slight canary in the coal mine.
Sure.
They are not laying it on thick yet.
That's fair.
This is just a nice thin coat of cream cheese at this point.
This is your preferred amount of cream cheese. That's fair. And I will say, yeah, I do agree with you. It's not terrible advice, though, because he's basically just saying, talk to your parents and communicate your feelings.
No, but that is a crazy thought. Andrew, your parents are a general, and you follow their orders.
And you have no thoughts, opinions, or emotions at all.
Yeah, correct.
I
mean, I certainly don't.
And that's why I turned out so well.
Hey, you're doing great. It's 2025. Andrew's a whole new great person. Yeah. Yeah, he's
over.
Andrew actually did the same plot of this episode.
Well, Brendan got me
over.
the cologne, and then I went around Lancaster County and shook hands with some business people. Now I'm the county's youngest mayor.
Yeah, Brendan would be a good guest for the podcast someday.
Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of off the wall right now.
So, yeah, we then it's still in. Oh, I guess we cut out. Again, I don't know why I'm trying to do a beat for beat. It doesn't matter. The next big thing that's going on is that Tom wants to get rid of the Timothy Center.
Exactly. Yes.
And
totally characteristic thing for him to do.
Yes.
He doesn't have any personal connections to it at all.
Right. Exactly. You know, he's got to go be a rodeo cowboy. And in the meantime,
don't spoil it.
Spoil what, Andrew?
This came out 25 years ago.
To the date.
I hope the internet exists.
I mean, I guess the couch thing is kind of a bit. We should have really committed to the I slap floor bit and like had our own anagram and our own like
thing.
Like, what if we had come in and just made stuff up about the episode or something? Like rather than just being like, we're just going to do a chill episode on the couch that'll come out in the future, we really could have made like a bit out of this episode. So Tom's getting rid of the Timothy Center, and we go to Sarah being upset that she didn't win some prize from the Electric Palace, and she's mad.
No, it's not Sarah. It's her brother that didn't win the prize.
Sarah's mad that her brother didn't win the prize. Okay. All
Oh,
right.
because I have in my notes that Sarah's brother's a freaking idiot for buying all those stupid ice scrapers.
Well,
What
that's
does a
fair.
child have to do with, like, 20 ice scrapers?
Is that what?
Yeah.
I think if I had, I just like rounded it out to be popsicles. It's so much funnier that it's ice scrapers.
It's ice scrapers.
But the actual winner of the prize was Rod Rathnebrone.
That was the name I got put on my new ID. They said, sign your name, and I said, Rod Rathnebrone.
I was really disappointed when I saw that, because we could have been, for the past 5 years, we could have been calling this podcast Pod Rathnebrone. And wouldn't have that been better?
We did it. We found the dumber bit, everybody. You found the marble in the oatmeal. You get to drink from the fire hose. Oh boy.
Pod Rathnebrone.
Pod.
Rathnebrone. You know how confusing it is to explain the name Wad Fam Chalk Pod? A thing that like the Wad Fam Chalk Sod is in like 5 episodes or something.
Not even. Yeah. I think it's like one.
No, it's definitely more than, I feel like we've covered more than one episode that it's in. Anyways, trying to make the bit like the podcast is named after a throwaway line in an episode that's really confusing to explain,
Yes.
and the name means absolutely nothing. I think it was a missed opportunity on our part.
for sure. Well, and
Hello
Pod-
and welcome to the Pod Rathnebrone.
Well, wouldn't it be? I'm Dylan Weaver.
I'm Andrew Osabo.
There we go.
That's how we do it.
And that's how we keep this safe in the time capsule.
Oh my word. But
What
yeah.
about Rod Castney, bro? Like that's the or podcast, bro. No, that doesn't.
Rathnebrone. All right, we've made the bit dumber.
By breaking the English language.
Oh man.
Mouths weren't meant to make those sounds.
Oh my word. So
Oh, that was a great album that came out not too long ago.
what?
Mouth sounds.
Man, I do love me some mouth sounds. I hope Neil Cicerega really keeps releasing those albums.
Yeah, for sure.
They're so good.
Ugh, 2025 Cicerega is
Yeah.
gonna be wild.
Oh my word. Yes. Let me that'll be my plug for this episode, is everyone just go listen to mouth sounds.
Yeah. And
So
my plug's gonna be UHF. This is gonna be the most on-brand episode ever.
yeah, that's so fair. At this point I have probably plugged mouth sounds 10 times. Like
Yeah.
the rate at which we're going.
And the depth of my love for Neil Cicerega. That's really the
Yeah.
variable that's doing all the heavy lifting here.
Mhm. How deep my love for Neil. Da-da. All right. So the bit here is like Maxwell shows up and suddenly turns Bart genuine.
Yes.
Walker Edmiston's performance is so good.
Oh my gosh, it's
I
incredible.
love him as genuine Bart, because like as the episode goes on, he still has a lot of his Bart-isms, but he's so like,
remorseful.
yeah, it's really fun.
He's got a
Um,
conscience in a way that, but not fully. Like, it wasn't a very unbelievable switch.
But again, it is like the context of this, like this is very funny for us, but also the context of this in Bernard telling the story to these kids
Sure.
is, hey, we all know how this guy sucks.
Right?
So imagine the opposite of him, who is good.
April Fools!
It's so funny to be like,
Imagine him having remorse.
yeah. Yeah, everyone in the town is like, so like gets Bart so much that you can tell children
Yeah, exactly.
That, he's being kind, and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that is weird. That is unusual." And so he decides to buy the Timothy Center so that to turn it into a space camp for poor kids so that everyone can go to space camp.
Well, you're skipping his tragic backstory where he was a poor kid that couldn't go to space camp, and he wants to give Rodney the better experience that he never had.
Yeah.
And that is where the idea of uh Bart Rathbone's space camp for people who ain't got no money was born.
I am so glad you wrote that down, Andrew, because I just panicked, went to the wiki to see if it was there, and it was not. So, I mean, maybe by 2025 it will have been added. But like, I really,
I have more confidence that this podcast will be still going in 2025 than the wiki will be up in 2025.
you know what? That is so true. The wiki is always on its last legs.
It is very much that sick dog that you are surprised is still around when you come home.
But also grateful to it. You know,
Oh yes. Oh.
we love the wiki.
An invaluable resource.
Wonder what Michael Lefevre's up till these days. Still going hard on Odyssey. Still being the wiki guy. Probably got a chill relationship with Phil Lawler.
I would guess for sure that third, considering he talked with him for like 4 hours.
Oh my word, yeah. So anyway, yeah. We then have the scene with Connie and Eugene.
Yes, which is so wonderful.
It is really fun. My biggest note of this is I'm just like, I am so glad that Will Ryan and Katie Lee, being like friends for forever, got to perform this scene.
Oh my gosh, their chemistry is unbelievable.
And it's very fun. Like, they play it up in the right way. All throughout this entire episode, John Campbell's score is doing so much heavy lifting, and he is hamming it up during this. And which
also, like, again plays to the narrative of the episode and how hard it is to tell a story within a story via only audio.
Yeah. Well, and this is also right. This is right before Will Ryan leaves the show for an extended period of time.
Sure.
So again, it's just kind of like, while I would never want Connie and Eugene to get together, I think that it is a very cute scene and is quite fun.
No, yeah, exactly. I feel the exact same way. I don't think that it would be good for the show if that were to ever happen in any way.
Yeah. I think Connie should be single forever.
Mm-hmm.
Going on record.
Yep. First time you've ever said that.
Connie is only allowed to date someone when I am dating someone, which by 2025 will definitely have happened, right?
I mean,
right?
Yeah. Let me know what they say about blind squirrels, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And stop clocks.
Uh-huh. It's gonna happen someday, folks. 2025, that's the year.
Well, you just have to take a note from me and have bad taste.
Wow. Wow. So as part of Eugene and Connie, like, falling in love, Eugene accidentally calls Katrina Latrina, not once, but twice.
Yeah. Well, wait, does he fully commit to it the second time? I thought he started it.
He definitely says it. I think he catches himself kind of the second time, but he doesn't.
Yeah, well, if you start with an L, that's already too
Right.
much.
Yeah, exactly. And my main point in bringing this up, is that Latrina is a very appropriate name for someone whose dad is named Armitage Shanks. The man is...
The podcast is over now.
The man is named after a manufacturer of toilets. Him naming his daughter Latrina is
gold. And yeah, it is a very interesting point because, like, they make a solid case for the, like, if you had never listened to Odyssey before, to believe that this could be a thing to a certain extent.
They do it. I mean, it's very like, will they, won't they?
Sure, yeah.
It's like, okay, they're gonna do, like, they basically do what I assume is Jim and Pam on The Office. I don't know. Maybe by 2025, I've finally seen The Office. But
no, there's no way.
Yeah,
I know you,
You know what, Andrew? Maybe by 2025, I will have seen the British Office.
There's definitely fewer episodes, and fingers crossed you get there. I've only seen the first season, but
Yeah. But like, yeah, if you've seen a sitcom, a situation comedy, as Edwin points out later, which is not what it is. It's a situational comedy. But Bernard doesn't know enough to say the right thing for Edwin to say the Edwin thing. This episode's conceit is weird.
it is all of it. But I will say, best part of it is like the voice actors are all having so much fun.
Yeah. I agree. It is worth listening to for the performances. Yeah.
Yeah, my note is like Connie and Eugene have such good chemistry, and like it honestly makes sense.
So we're back in Wit's End. Edwin has showed up. We hear Wit in the background saying, I think maybe my favorite line of dialogue that Paul Hurlinger has ever said as Wit, which is he just says, and make sure the axe is really sharp.
Yes. Yeah. No, well, he says before that, no, I think that you should split that wood before your parents come home. I think they'll be really proud of you. And make sure that axe is really sharp.
It just
Is perfect.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of an edge to it in like a Hal Smith way. So Edwin is asking Wit for Willy Wonka costume.
Yes, he is asking him for Willy Wonka costumes. I don't know why that's so humorous to you.
It's just, of all the ridiculous stuff in this episode, and obviously they want to do the Blackguard thing, so they're going to have Earl Bowen, and if you've already got him, you should use him for Edwin. Like, I understand why he's there. It's so funny to me to be like, Connie and Eugene are getting together. Wit gives bad advice. Tom's selling the Timothy Center. Edwin's Bart's making a charity.
Yeah.
Edwin Blackguard is performing Willy Wonka.
And is going to see like a Fast and Furious type movie.
Correct. And also is
But marrying Margaret Faye's not even out of character for him.
Disagree. We will Shakespeare. Look, I have notes in a moment here. I have again a really solid note that I don't want to spoil. But so all this is like because he watched the most classic I Love Lucy episode,
which they describe beat by beat, which is great.
I'm just why are we doing this? But yeah, so that leads Edwin to decide like he's going to do plays for the people. And he has arrived at Wit's End not just to ask for a Willy Wonka costume, but also to ask Wit if Wit is okay with him asking out Margaret Faye.
Exactly.
Because Wit and Margaret had a thing for a bit. We'll get to that episode at some point. But this is just like the most obvious case in some ways of something being off. Because Edwin is cheating on Shakespeare in 2 ways.
Not only the writer, but the lover as well.
Yeah.
Got him.
Yep.
Dunked. And
slam dunk. Also, yeah,
case closed.
Yeah, we'll get into the Margaret Faye thing. We want to get into the Margaret Faye thing now?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really like it's not really a big part of it, but it is like tangential and like annoying.
The Margaret Faye thing is rough.
Yes.
It is the worst part of this episode. So, like,
by far.
The thing with Margaret Faye is that she's a very assertive woman. And so they make like
she doesn't have the same conservative values that Wit has, if I remember that episode correctly. Like that was like their driving thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're so smart.
I think
God.
I think the handling of Margaret in those episodes that she's in
is miles better.
Right, is actually fairly decent to her. Yeah. Like, it's still, they're making a point about, the differences in these people, and she's not being made out to be the hero of that story, but she's also not being, strawmanned into, a punchline.
Yes, yeah. No, she's not taken unseriously. If anything, she might be cast as, a moral minority or like perhaps morally inferior, ethically inferior because she doesn't share the same values.
Right. And so this episode, it just bugs me the degree to which they
Get Edwin Blackard to do the
Well,
press release.
the degree to which they make Margaret they push it so far in the other direction that it makes you go, wait, did they think that the original stance was unreasonable as well? Like, it just, but yeah, so the whole bit is right. Like, Edwin, she's not going to be the mayor because she's going to, like, stay at home.
Yes, and
And-
cook and clean for him and all the things that she
Correct.
said she didn't want to do.
Correct. And it's just,
Rear his offspring.
yeah, it's just like a bummer that, like, in the midst of all this, like, lighthearted stuff, they're just, like, really, like, I get that this is the flip for Margaret Faye.
But it's not, though.
But yeah,
Like, I would think she is famous for caring and working really hard. So I feel
Correct.
like the flip is her not
yes,
caring.
her being lazy would be funnier than this version, which is like, right, what if rather than being like,
herself, she was the way we wanted her to be.
yeah, it does feel a little bit like that, where they're like, well, we're going over the top, but also, like,
I don't know that we're that over the top.
Yeah.
We're not
yeah,
like her.
It just cracked me up. And I'm also, like, I mean, I guess it is opposite day, because Edwin's absolutely a bottom.
Oh, for sure. That is the voice
Like-
of a power bottom.
Edwin and Margaret Faye, not in a non-reverse world, actually maybe still kind of works.
Yeah.
If not for Shakespeare being there, you know.
Exactly. But no. Edwin is basically an Electress in the way that he's a power bottom. Like, it's crazy.
Oh man. But yeah. There's so we get to this big culmination at this point. Maxwell gets announced as mayor.
Yes.
Like, that's who's going to
He's
be
stepping
replacing
in.
him. That's who's going to be replacing Margaret. And then everyone gets together. And Bernard kind of makes this point of like, or I don't, who starts it? Is it Bernard who
Bernard's
says
the one
everyone's acting weird,
Yeah.
but none of them can realize themselves. They just realize everyone else is.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of like all gathered up and
Expressing
stuff-
concern.
well, yeah, and stuff is just escalating. So we've got like we do get Wait instructing Sarah to pierce her own ears, which is a good bit. I'm a fan of that. Harlow is like in the background, just yelling out like, "I figured out Stonehenge."
I figured out what killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Which they definitely already knew what killed the dinosaurs in 2000 or 1999, right? Like we were
sure.
firmly in big meteor land at that point,
Yeah.
right?
It's a great point. It's a great point. But
Stonehenge, we still don't know.
yeah,
Pyramids, there are questions
aliens. It's always aliens.
for sure.
But we also get in this scene Connie and Eugene with a comical kiss.
Oh, multiple? Isn't there more than one?
I only remember the one. But regardless,
It's very wet.
we had a discussion about if there are ever kisses in Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. Here it is.
Here it is. If it's for comedy, you can make it.
It's a John Mark McMillan kiss. Like
It is sloppy wet. Nice.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's for
Only this audience would appreciate that humor.
See, it was unforeseen to me
Ah,
that it would be here at all.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you for that. For one-upping me.
I don't know that
No,
that was a
no.
one-up. I feel like that was like maybe lateral south.
Lateral South was my favorite music festival.
This is also the moment where Whit reveals that he made the machine from the cartoon.
Yes, which is the greatest white sin to ever sin, which is retconning that abomination into canon.
I mean, it is. Yeah, they make the joke about the clock tower. There's no scenario in which we ever talk about the cartoon, right?
No,
It's not good.
and it's not like really available. Like, where would we even get it?
Yeah.
I don't think you can get it on the website.
Yeah, that's a great point. We buy the DVDs off eBay.
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
man.
maybe by 2025, somebody will have uploaded them to streaming or something. Focus will probably have their own streaming service by then. Streaming on the family. Oh, no. That sounds so
Andrew?
much worse.
That's not allowed.
I don't want it
Oh, my
anymore. What I will say that is important is that Tom's spurs are scratching the tile floors. And that he is
Oh,
lassoing
yeah.
a 400-year-old.
A 400-year-old what?
400-year-old horse. Rachel's supposedly
right,
400.
Yes, yeah. Rachel's 400.
It is important to note that Rathbone, Bart, if you will, as he's commonly known, offers Wit shelter in his sleepaway camp as like a, yeah, man, you're really losing it. You do need a place to stay. Which is
That's crazy.
It is wild because in no instance was his housing ever jeopardized.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it is, they just kind of all start to piece together.
The common thread that is
Everyone
Dick
has
Maxwell.
been there, is Maxwell, and this is being led by Harlow Doyle
Yes.
because
He just finished the dinosaurs.
Right.
He's moving on.
he can solve a case, and it's so funny. And so he like goes through all of the, this started happening when Maxwell showed up, and then and then ends it with, and you all know I've never been this lucid and deductive before.
Yeah, and everybody's like, yeah. No, it's perfect. Will Ryan masterclass.
Kills that line, and
He
there's
kills
something
this whole episode.
he
His
does.
Eugene with emotion, his
Yeah.
Eugene with humor.
But the idea of I'm specifically calling out I've never been this lucid before is so funny. Like, deductive is the easy
That's an
line.
Andrew move.
Adding in lucid is so funny.
So off the wall.
Oh man. But yeah, and then
And
so
then we
they all
get
point a
Richard's villain
finger
monologue.
at Maxwell, and he starts to monologue about how he always wanted to seek revenge or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, he'd been undercover and whatever, and then another point of praise for the episode is the production where his voice is glitching into Edwin's.
Yeah.
Or Regis.
Yeah.
Is so good.
Right. So he just slowly transitions over from Maxwell to Blackguard, and then he rips off the mask Mission Impossible style.
It's way more frightening than anything.
It is like it's very well sound designed. But
It's
just,
unsettling.
like, visceral as an experience. But
Yeah.
yeah. And then
And we cut back to David and Mandy.
and they're like, but this is crazy. And Bernard has to kind of explain to them who Blackguard is. And Mandy's like, oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Again,
Canon.
it's just weird. They were the kids that were available at this era of the show. So that's who we've got. And they ask, wait, Bernard, why weren't you affected by all this?
Well, it's easy.
I slap floor.
I slap floor?
I slap floor.
Huh.
And then Bernard leaves, and Whit walks in and says, hey, kids, don't believe everything you hear.
Yeah. Yeah. What I will say is kind of devious by Whit is not calling it for being absurd. He basically just says, you ever heard of an anagram?
Yeah, right. He says, hey, write it down on a piece of paper, move it around. Also, Whit solves that anagram so fast.
Yeah,
That's all of his spy training.
Oh, yeah. All that NSA decoding coming in clutch.
And then he does say, like, and don't believe everything you hear.
Yeah. Today or whatever. Yeah.
To kind of, lean into it. And then, yeah, Chris doubles down on the do the I slap floor thing, whatever, in the intro.
Yes.
So what was your experience with this as a kid, Andrew?
Oh man, I remember hearing it on the radio internet, on like the witsend.org over the summer in middle school, and being like, oh haha, yeah, this is fun. I didn't have great feelings. Like, obviously you remember it because
Sure.
it's ridiculous and nonsensical.
What was your experience with the mystery part, with the I slap floor?
Oh, I had it spoiled for me by my older siblings.
Ah, okay, sure.
So I'm curious, what is your experience, and did it take you a while to figure it out, or did you figure it out before the end of the episode?
No, I didn't figure it out before the end of the episode. No, I think I
Of course you could. And say I slapped floor.
well, I mean, I saw the title of the episode when I put it in.
Sure.
But no, I think I did not get it until Chris's second clue.
Okay.
But I do think that this episode is the
Introduction for you to anagrams.
bingo.
There it is. And I do love an anagram. Always have. But yeah, I think this probably is the reason.
Yeah.
I also did a lot of
I'm
word
more of a
searches.
Lauren Graham guy.
That you are. I mean, who amongst us isn't? Show me a guy that's not a Lauren Graham guy, and I will show you no man at all.
Yeah.
It's written by Marshall Younger, and is all the cast and all the audio is all. None of it's repurposed. It's
Correct.
all
This is all
recorded
new
live.
stuff for this episode. It's a banger cast. They do such a good job. It's a really fun episode. It's kind of a nothing episode,
Oh, it is 100%
But-
a nothing episode.
but you know,
That's a Bernard and episode to a certain extent.
yeah,
Bernard
Bernard and
and-
Floor.
Yeah. What a great title for his memoir.
I mean,
Bernard and Floor.
that is honestly Bernard and Windows.
Yeah.
This is real.
The janitorial saga.
Yeah, he's always more of a window guy than a floor guy.
Definitely.
Picture him with a squeegee, not a mop.
Yeah, you're right. But he does have a mop bucket.
Yeah, I feel like his artwork doesn't. Yeah. Do you have a bucket on your head?
No. Well, I don't have anything else.
Yeah,
to
I think
add.
that's all my notes. I look.
For the April Fool's episode, we only managed to stretch it out to over an hour.
I mean, look, it'll edit down to less, maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see. Maybe it doesn't get edited.
We won't know until 2025.
Yeah. That's. I don't. No, I don't edit it until 25.
Oh,
That way
no.
I can take out all of the reference. No, you got to edit this and just have it there posted.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll schedule it to go out. That way, if Anchor implodes by then,
It's still
Then we'll-
there.
then we'll have a problem. But yeah,
Or you just distribute on Apple Podcasts.
there you go. I don't think I've got anything else to plug. I feel like we've kind of. I don't know what to plug in an episode out of time. Like
UHF.
yeah, UHF and mouth sounds.
Yep. That's the answer.
It's great. I'll put those links in the show notes.
Please
Um,
watch it.
Yeah,
It will make you hopefully
um,
like me more.
but yeah. I guess there is one more thing I should say before we go out.
Hmm.
Hey, folks, just like to level with you. If sad, voyage.
Truer words have never been
I
spoken.
don't feel like I've said those 3 words in that order to you before, but I'm saying them now, and I'll say them one more time. If
If-
sad, voyage.
Voyage.
And just know that this episode was recorded on an aged ivy sofa.
Mm-hmm. Aged ivy sofa. And a lovely color it is.
All right. With all that being said, we will see you next
Back in
week.
time.
I don't know. We will
We go
see you
back to the future.
Yeah. We'll see you at another time in another place. Bye, guys.
Reagan, the actor?